Got my friend Tom in the shop today, and Tom started messing with knife making, and we'll define that a little bit for you in a second, not that long ago. So I thought it'd be cool for Tom to share his experience. Some of you know I'm pretty wrapped up in this whole knife making thing too. So I thought it'd be cool for Tom to talk about his experience, how he got here, what he does. And so Tom, welcome to the shop. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, sure,
And,
no problem.
When did this start for you? How long ago?
About a year ago, and it was because of you as much as anything.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
You were into knife making, and at that time I decided, geez, maybe I should make a hunting knife, I think was the first thing. And I made the hunting knife, and it was relatively successful, but not great. And then I decided some kitchen knives would be in order, because we just didn't have good blades on our kitchen knives. So I got a set of blades and put the knives together, steak knives and the normal ones that you have in the kitchen, chef's knives, that sort of thing. And they turned out pretty good. And they're very nice because you can keep a good edge on them. Then I decided after that, I do quite a bit of bird hunting out in North Dakota. And we have contacts out there that we've hunted on their farms for many years, and every year I try to bring
you make them a little gift.
A gift, yes. Every year I try to bring something different out there, and so this year I decided I'd make some hunting knives up, and so that's essentially what we have right here. These are various woods. Most of you woodworkers out there will have this kind of stuff right in your shop. All the tools that you probably need to make these knives. This is really pretty simple.
Well, let's talk about, to be transparent for the people that are watching, because I run into this. Knife making, neither you nor I are forging blades, right?
No.
I mean, you haven't, are you doing that when I'm not looking, or that hasn't happened yet?
No,
okay.
no, you're absolutely right.
So the steel that's here, you're getting from a supplier.
Yes.
And it looks...
Many on the internet. Many suppliers of blades.
It looks something like this. And you're adding the handles, which are called?
Scales.
Yeah, so and in broad strokes, you can deal with two different kinds of knives. What Tom's got here are knives that have scale handles put on. An alternative blank is one that looks like this. This is called the tang of the knife, and that results in something that looks like this, which you've also done, but you're more into the scale thing.
Well, I've done this, this type right here, but I found that it's much easier to do this type with the scales.
So this is a great point.
This is a little more advanced.
This involves soldering with silver solder. There's some other, there's some stuff going on there. So this is a great point to key in on. So for people who want to do their very first knife, your advice is a scale style.
A scale style, and a thing that you can do that is very easy to make the knives really look neat and sharp is to dress up your sheaths or your cases here. You can dye them different colors. You can see a bit of a color difference here, and then you can put what amounts to, it looks like a saddle varnish. It's actually the material that you use for this is used for saddles, basically, and it conditions the leather, and you can also imprint various designs. In this case, this is an Indian head and I believe a feather over on one like this. And you can, but there's all kinds of different designs that you can put on the sheath, and it's just with this is what it is right here.
Just a leather stamp.
Yes.
Yep. So let's get on the woodworking side of this whole thing. You have the blank, and then when you're forming the scale, any specialized tools you had to add to your shop to make that happen?
Well, no, I didn't have to add anything, but I do use a drum sander to flatten this.
Okay. To get skinny pieces, because you need skinny.
And an oscillating spindle sander is indispensable for doing the curves and so forth. And of course you need a bandsaw to rough out the shape of the handle.
Okay. Everything gets drilled for these rivets, handheld drill or drill press?
I use a drill press for everything.
Yeah, it seems like a smart move. And then at the end of the day, Are just the rivets in here? Is there glue in here, or what's actually holding the scales in place?
The scale is glued to one side and then drilled, and then glued to the other side and drilled again. And these are actually what are called corbies,
Okay.
fasteners that are in here. And I use those almost all the time. But many times you can use just a rod or a bar in here. Doesn't have to be the corby. But the corbies work well because you can tighten them down and nothing's ever going to come loose with those. And then just grind them off.
And two-part epoxy is the glue in
yes.
there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So big picture, if you were talking to people and saying, you should do this, you might want to try this. You should do this because, like, so what's your favorite part out of adding this to your, I mean, you've already built cabinets and furniture and you do some lathe turning. Your previous gift for these guys was a pepper mill. Yeah. So you've done a lot of woodworking, now you're really into this. So what's your favorite part of messing with these knives?
My favorite part of messing with these knives, I guess, is to tell you the truth, when I get toward, when it's almost finished, I love sharpening the knife.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
And getting a really great edge on it. And I like a sharp knife. I think a sharp knife is a safe knife.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
All right. Well, it's a good overview. And I think it's cool that at the end of the day, like we've talked about, you do not have to add a lot of super specialized stuff to your shop to make this happen. What's the most you have spent on a knife blank? Maybe on your kitchen knives? Were those the most expensive ones?
Not really. I mean, I think probably $15 to $20 at the very most right now. But if you get into the Damascus or something like that.
Yeah, this is about a $100 knife blank.
Yeah,
here,
and
so.
I intend to invest a little bit more in some knife blanks here because I am going to make some up for some gifts for family members, my sons.
So it's, so the point I was trying to get to there is you can spend $6 on a piece of steel. You can spend $200 on a piece of steel. So you don't have to jump in with both feet and spend all sorts of dough to get going in this. In fact, you can find kits, and Google is your friend for this. You can find kits that will come with scales that are already drilled and shaped, and all you're going to do is glue them on, put the rivets in, and finish the shaping. So at an introductory level, or you want to start with a kid, you can make it very simple and then kind of graduate as you go. I'm to a point where I want to learn to forge this steel. I want to learn to make a piece of Damascus and make the blades on my own. But there's all sorts of different levels of this. So
yes,
cool.
Yes.
Well, good. Well, thanks for taking the time to show us your stuff. They're coming out great, and I love the work you're doing on the sheaths. You can really see what you start with to what you end up with. That's a really nice touch to personalize those.
Yes, I did visit a very experienced knife maker in Sioux Falls, and he gave me a lot of tips about doing this sort of thing, and he does forge his own blades.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's pretty neat. It really is, but you're getting into really some high-buck equipment to do that sort of thing.
So, very good. All right, Tom, thanks a bunch. Beautiful work. Really nice.
Well, thank you. Thank you.